Paramount's The Agency just wrapped its second season with an episode called King of Sacrifice. And if you have been keeping up with this show, you already know that title is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Because this finale is not about a spy outrunning his enemies. It is about a man who outran everyone, including himself, and finally has nowhere left to go. Let's get into it. Before we pull apart the finale, it helps to understand what this entire season was actually arguing. The Agency Season 2 opens exactly where Season 1 left off, with Martian accepting a deal with MI6 that he has no business accepting. And right away, the show makes one thing very clear. His motivation has nothing to do with ideology, politics, money, or ambition. It has everything to do with one person. Dr. Samia Zahir is imprisoned in Sudan, and Martian has decided, on a level that is no longer entirely rational, that getting her out is worth whatever the cost. That framing is important, because it means every bad decision that follows is not the result of Martian being reckless or naive. He is exceptionally aware of what he is risking. He just genuinely believes the trade is worth it. The season slowly, methodically, proves him wrong. The mechanics of betrayal. What makes the season's structure so effective is the way it shows how one compromise multiplies. Martian passes a single piece of intelligence to MI6. That intelligence creates a gap in CIA operations. That gap requires an explanation. That explanation requires another deception. And on, until he is no longer managing a secret. He is managing an entire parallel reality. Meanwhile, London Station is falling apart around him in ways that no one can yet explain. Bosco is watching operational failures pile up. Henry Ogletree is watching the pattern inside those failures. Assets are being burned. Pipelines are going dark. The math is not adding up, and the people whose job it is to find the discrepancy are very, very good at math. By the time we arrive at episode 10, Martian is fighting on 3 fronts simultaneously, and he is losing ground on all of them. The first front is internal. Bosco and Henry have essentially closed the circle. They may not have his name on paper yet, but they are looking at the right shape. The internal investigation is not a subplot at this point. It is a countdown clock. The second front is Valhalla. Viking's mercenary operation has become the agency's most dangerous external problem all season. Not because Viking is a sophisticated thinker, but because chaos is his product. He does not need a master plan. He just needs instability to thrive in, and instability is exactly what Martian has been manufacturing inside London Station for months. The third front is Iran. Gremlin's undercover operation inside Hassan Zamani's orbit has been running on borrowed time, and the borrowed time has run out. The intelligence feeding into her mission has been quietly corrupted for weeks. She does not know that yet. That gap between what she believes she is working with and what is actually true becomes the most tragic element of the entire season. The centerpiece of the finale is the extraction of Samia from Kobar prison, and the show earns every minute of it. This is not a clean operation. Nothing about it is choreographed in the way action thrillers usually choreograph these set pieces. It is messy, contingent, and dependent on a dozen things going exactly right under conditions where almost nothing has been going right. Martian is essentially betting everything he has left professionally and personally on a single move. And it works. Against every reasonable probability, it works. Samia emerges from captivity visibly changed. Months of imprisonment do not leave people where they were before. She is physically free, but what that freedom means and who is responsible for the state of the world she is being released into are not simple calculations. She knows what Martian did to get her here. Not just the extraction, everything before it. The compromises, the burned assets, the people who are dead because intelligence pipelines were quietly poisoned from the inside. Their reunion is one of the best scenes in the episode precisely because it does not give either character what they probably wanted. They care about each other. That much is clear. But caring about someone and being able to build something with them are two entirely different things, and the scene understands that completely. While Martian is focused on Samia, the CIA is executing its coordinated offensive against Valhalla, and the operation succeeds. Viking falls. The network collapses. From a pure intelligence standpoint, this is exactly the outcome London Station has been working toward all season. The show does not let the audience feel entirely good about it. Evidence surfacing during the final stages of the operation suggests that Valhalla was never the architect of the conflict it was creating. Viking was a weapon, not a strategist. Someone was pointing at him. The CIA has taken apart the instrument without finding the hand that was holding it. It is a quiet but devastating detail. The agency wins a battle it can document, against an enemy it can name, and walks away without understanding the deeper game it is playing inside. That unresolved thread is almost certainly deliberate. Whether it becomes the spine of a potential Season 3 or simply exists as a commentary on how intelligence work actually functions, you identify what you can see and remain permanently uncertain about what you cannot. It lands with real weight. Gremlin's storyline is where the season makes its most unambiguous moral argument. Her mission inside Iran was always high risk. Infiltrating Hassan Zamani's circle through his relationship with Daria required precision, trust, and intelligence that was reliable. She had two of those three things. The third was Martian's responsibility, and he could not provide it without exposing himself. The result is not a near miss. Assets die. The operation does not fail gracefully, it collapses violently, in ways that cannot be cleaned up or quietly attributed to the randomness that intelligence operations sometimes absorb. These are the deaths that the finale plants at Martian's feet most directly, not as a legal indictment, but as a moral one. He has been telling himself for 10 episodes that his betrayal serves a higher purpose, that the individual sacrifice he is making justifies the broader compromise. The Iran storyline is the show's answer to that argument. It says, look at what your higher purpose actually costs. Look at the people who paid for your conviction that your love story was worth more than their lives. It is a brutal piece of storytelling. It is also the most honest. By the final act, the investigation is over. Bosco and Henry know. The mole has a name now, and the name is Martian. What follows is the sequence the entire season has been building toward. Not the extraction, not the Valhalla offensive, but this. A man who has spent his entire career making himself impossible to find is now being hunted by the people who trained him. The irony is not subtle, and the show does not pretend it is. Martian uses everything the CIA taught him to stay ahead of the CIA. Every skill refined over years of deep cover work. Every instinct sharpened by operations in places where getting caught meant disappearing permanently. All of it is now pointed inward, at the institution that built him. Across Europe, he manufactures diversions, misdirections, false trails. It is genuinely impressive, and the show allows the audience to admire the craftsmanship even while recognizing the tragedy underneath it. He is not running because he is winning. He is running because there is nothing left to fight for inside the walls he has spent his career defending. What the ending actually says, the finale closes without a conventional resolution, and that choice is the whole point. Martian is not captured. He is not dead. He is not exonerated. He is simply out. Out of the CIA, out of MI6 trust, out of his colleagues' regard, out of the professional identity that gave his life structure and meaning. Samia is alive. That was the objective. Objective achieved. Everything else is wreckage. The show frames this with real precision. Martian accomplished what he set out to accomplish, and he is standing in the ruins of literally everything else. His freedom is real. His isolation is equally real. He exists in a space where every institution has rejected him, and every sacrifice has produced exactly one result. The one result that, by this point, cannot fix anything. You cannot talk about this finale without talking about what Fassbender does in it. This is not a showy performance. There are no obvious breakdown scenes, no moments designed to clip well out of context. What Fassbender is doing is quieter and more difficult, playing a man whose confidence erodes so gradually that you almost miss the moment it disappears entirely. By the finale, there is nothing left of the certainty that drove him at the start of the season. Just competence running on empty. Jodie Turner-Smith makes sure Samia never becomes a symbol. Even in the reunion scene, which could easily become about Martian's emotional arc, she keeps the camera honest about who actually paid the higher price here. Jeffrey Wright's Henry Ogletree is relentless in exactly the right way. Richard Gere brings an authority to Bosco that makes every scene feel like a negotiation, even when no words are being exchanged. And Hugh Bonneville's Jim Richardson is the season's most interesting ambiguity, a character who operates so far into the gray area between ally and manipulator that even in the finale, You are not entirely sure which side of that line he is standing on. The Agency Season 2 is not interested in celebrating the spy game. It is interesting what the spy game removes from the people who play it. Martian does not lose because he ran out of skill or intelligence. He loses because maintaining multiple versions of yourself across years and operations eventually dissolves the original. There is no stable self left underneath the covers. The title King of Sacrifice turns out to be the show's thesis statement and its most precise piece of irony. You can sacrifice everything in service of one objective, win that objective completely, and discover that sacrifice has a point of no return where what you gave up cannot be recovered, regardless of whether you succeeded. Martian is free. Martian is alone. The mission is over. Whether that constitutes a victory or a defeat is the question the show leaves you holding. Drop your take in the comments below. Do you think Martian made the right call, or did the show convince you that no version of this ends well? And if you want breakdowns of everything else this season is built toward, subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.